want to read something from Planting the Seed, which describes Prabhupada's early days of preaching in New York. The seed of the tree of ISKCON was planted in New York. Now the branches, like a huge banyan tree, the seed may be planted in one place, but the branches of the banyan tree can go all over, sometimes for kilometers. The branches can go in the earth and come up here and there. They can spread very large. So the seed of the ISKCON tree was planted in New York. Now the branches have spread all over the world. Even in Gurgaon and Noida, there's branches and centers of ISKCON. So it's very inspiring to read the early days of Prabhupada in New York preaching with the devotees, and I'll just read a small portion. Whatever Swamiji is what they call Prabhupada. The name Prabhupada came, and Prabhupada, of course, started his preaching in 1966 in New York. Actually started in Butler, Pennsylvania in 65, but in New York he incorporated ISKCON in July of 1966. So from 65 to 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, I don't know when it was, maybe 72 or 73. Around that time, Prabhupada got the name Prabhupada. He wasn't always had this big title, because it says in some verses from Bhagavatam that the spiritual master can be referred to generically, let's say, or categorically as Srila Vishnupad or Srila Prabhupada. He's the Prabhu, he's the master, and we're at his feet, or he's at Vishnu's feet, Vishnupad or Prabhupada. So that came out in maybe 4th canto Bhagavatam in one purport later on. So then devotees asked Prabhupada in 1973 or even 74, can we call you Srila Prabhupada? And he said, if you like, you can do. So they started doing that. But before that, they were calling him Swamiji. And every sannyasi is called Swamiji, right? Swamiji, Swamiji, Swamiji. Actually, in ISKCON, everybody that wears saffron is called Swamiji. Because Indians generally have the idea that saffron means sannyasi. So when they meet any brahmacharis from ISKCON, they say, "Where's Swamiji? He came to my house." You know, they rather like it. The brahmacharis, "Oh yeah, I'm Swamiji." So this is the point. They're all called Swamiji. So they were calling him. They just referred to Prabhupada as Swamiji. Very informal. Ji means, of course, respectful. So Swamiji, they called him Swamiji. So here it's saying, whatever Swamiji said, that means Srila Prabhupada, whatever Swamiji said or did, his disciples wanted to hear about it. Gradually they increased their faith and devotion to Swamiji, whom they accepted as God's representative, and they took his actions and words to be absolute. After one of the disciples had been alone with Swamiji, the others would gather around him to find out every detail of what happened. In other words, one disciple may meet with Prabhupada in his room, and when he came out of the room, then all the other disciples would gather around. They would gather around him, and they would say, "Oh, what did he say? Thank you. What did Prabhupada say? What did he teach? What did he say? What did you hear?" And then they would say, "Oh, he said this and that, and he said something about so-and-so. Oh, what did he say about so-and-so?" Or whatever. So this was the situation. So they were very eager to find out every detail what happened. It was Krishna consciousness. Radharani was especially open in relating what Swamiji had said or done. One day, Prabhupada stepped on a tack. You know, tack is like a little nail. You know, like a nail? Tack. Stepped on a tack that Radharani had dropped on the floor. And although she knew it was a serious offense to her spiritual master, the major importance of the event seemed to be how Prabhupada had displayed his transcendental consciousness. In other words, she left a tack on the floor because she was painting in one room in Prabhupada's apartment. He was in one room translating, and she would come in the day and paint different paintings for Prabhupada's books. And then so Prabhupada stepped on a tack, and so that's a major, it's not very nice, to have your guru step on a tack, maybe cut his foot. So they were thinking it's a big offense, but they were amazed at how Prabhupada reacted to that event. Prabhupada silently and emotionlessly reached down and pulled the tack out of his foot without so much as a cry. In other words, he didn't cry. And once, when Radharani was fixing a painting over Prabhupada's head behind his desk, she had accidentally stepped on Prabhupada's sitting mat. You know, the asan, the Guru's asan, is considered to be sacred. Tadiyanam Samarchanam, the things connected with Krishna or the devotees, is considered to be sacred and worshipable. So she said, "Oh Prabhupada, is this an offense that I stepped on your sitting mat?" She asked, and Prabhupada replied, "No, for service you could even stand on my head." So this is, of course, Prabhupada is absorbed in Gaur Lila, Chaitanya Lila. So there's a pastime where Govinda Das, he stepped over Lord Chaitanya to massage him and then stayed there.